the new track facility. This is called the Amy Track and Field Facility. It's pretty exciting. It's about a $685,000 privately funded through donations facility that's going to be open to the community and also house our sports teams. Some things that you're going to see out here in our future. The biggest thing is the brand new track. It's been about 15 years, maybe even longer than that, since we've had a home track meet. I'll point out some things if you can follow along with me right over here to the left in this area that they call the D zone. You'll see that it's on the inside of the track surface. That's the high jump area. That's why it's already paved and rubber coating on top of it. And you'll see just slightly to the east the new long jump runways. There's one going north and one going south. The sand's in there, the toe boards are in there. Those are designed so you can run either way depending on the wind. The newest addition is just in today are the new multi-purpose goalposts. Those will double as football goalposts and soccer goalposts. As you scan across the field, you'll see it looks a little torn up. They just slip seeded it. It's the second seeding, so we'll get another growing season out of that. That's all freshly seeded, ready to go, and fertilized. So the whole area inside, we hope if it gets another good growing season now, maybe it'll be strong enough to use this fall, but my prediction is probably next spring. It's kind of difficult to see, but down there you'll see the far goalpost, and right behind that is the pole vault area, which will be same kind of surface with the rubber coating, the long runway, and it's all set up and ready to go. As we pan our way to the south up here, you'll see they've finished grading all the area. They're starting to straw it and seed it, and we hope with this little rain we get some heat this weekend. We might get a nice jump start on some grass growing in this area. But what you're seeing in this area here will be mostly grass, but we should have a set of bleachers at about the 50-yard line, and then down at the end of this runway is the finish line. There should be a set of bleachers down there at the finish line as well. We're reusing the old bleachers that are across the street from the old football stadium. They're still sitting there. They'll be refurbed and put on this, so we're using everything we can to save money. And something interesting that's just getting started, if you followed us at our last board meeting, we can scan over here to the southwest corner. You can see the company has started to stake out the area where the track and soccer locker rooms are going to be placed. So that construction should be starting shortly. And let's just keep moving right along. We're standing in the bullpen. This is basically the starting area of the track meets, but what you'll see right outside here are two interesting things. On the far west side is the shot put area. There will be a toe board attached to that concrete pad, and once they pack that gravel, that's the base gravel, then there'll be a very thin coat of this finely crushed limestone that gives it a solid base, so when you throw the shot it makes a mark and you can measure exactly the back of the shot put. And then right up here near the edge you'll see the ring that's kind of sunk into the ground. That is the discus circle. It's the way they're making them now, so that's state-of-the-art discus area. And you can kind of envision going off to the northwest here a big triangular shaped landing area where all that will be grass, and that's where they will throw the discus. You'll see the retention pond over there in the far northwest. That would be a state championship throw if anybody ever hit that retention pond, so we would be pretty happy if somebody could actually throw that far. It's nice to see they've finished all the way around the retention pond, and over here on the far north side of the retention pond you'll see the heavy ballast stone they put in there. That's for overflow purposes. So everything is coming along real nice here. The one thing we're waiting for, and it's kind of getting in the way right now, is dry weather. We need 50-degree weather with no rain.
And it's raining right now.
It is raining right now. So if you look at the track surface, we have 2 layers of rubber on this track right now. It's a 7-layer system. Each layer is roughly 1/8 of an inch thick. They put down 1/8 of an inch and then put adhesive on it. And then they put down, after that's completely dry, another 1/8 of an inch and adhesive it. But you've got to have the temperature and the dry cooperate. So in Ohio, Northeast Ohio, especially Conneaut, when are we going to get about 10 days of 50-degree weather with no rain? So hopefully sooner than later, so they can get these last 5 layers on here and we can get the lines painted on here and start to use this track.
So if we would have had a mild winter, if winter hadn't started until the normal time, it would have been possible perhaps for the track team to use it, been able to use that this year.
Absolutely, that was the goal. And about the second week in October, it started getting rainy and cold, and we kept hoping and hoping we could get it done. The original completion date was November 1, but the winter came early. That's why they're back here too, now at this time of the year. They're finishing up everything they can outside the track and inside the track. They just can't do the rubber again. And that's the big piece of this that's holding us up, is getting this rubber surface done. But we want to do it right because this has got to last the school and the community for 50 years. You know, we got to do this facility right, so there's no sense rushing it. Okay, well, welcome to our press box. We're at the Spark facility. We are at the football stadium. I have with us Kevin Warren, our building and grounds supervisor, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about all the press box technology, because what we have in here rivals any small college probably in the United States. So he's the expert on all this technology, and he's the one responsible for making it work. So I'm going to turn this over to Kevin and let him explain to you what we have in here.
Okay, this is the fun stuff here. With the help of Conneaut Foundation, with their monetary donations, and Ken Johnson and his crew with Conneaut Telephone Company, extending all our wirings and so forth. We have pretty much state-of-the-art sound equipment here. They're not just horns, they're actual speakers, good quality. We can record, we can play any kind of media, whether it be MP3s, CDs. The capabilities are greater than we use it for, but if you've ever been to any venue in between plays and so forth, they have little sounds and things. We have all those capabilities. We also over here have, it's an integrated PC system to where we can actually put videos on there. We can play sound fonts from there. It's really a lot of fun. We have connections in here for video production. When there's games, they bring all their equipment up here and they can stream it and you can pick it up on the net. And it's really fun stuff for me. This is the part that I like. And, the press box itself, it's just got an awesome view. It's set up great.
Welcome to our new concession stand. You're seeing the beautiful view that our athletic boosters will have next football season. They'll be able to look right out onto the field and watch the game. This is the main concession window that will be operating during events that are in the stadium. And if you rotate over here a little bit, you'll see a smaller window. This is our concierge window, where if you buy preferred seats, the beautiful seat backs are up there. We have our athletic teams wait on you and come down and get your concessions. So they come to this concession window, which is a real quick access for them, and the people give them the food and they take it back to you. So that's one of the perks of owning those preferred seats up there. So if you're interested, call our athletic administrator, and Jim Campbell will set you up with preferred seats. What's nice about this facility, if you pan over to this window will be the concession window when we have tennis events. It won't be open during football events because it's outside the stadium. It's outside the stadium fencing. So this building is going to get dual use, not only during tennis season, but it'll also get used during soccer and football season. So we've designed it so it gets twice as much use as a normal concession stand would, which I think is pretty exciting. Well, I walked into the superintendent's job in July. In December, when our insurance came up for renewal, basically the insurance company said, we are not going to insure you on that stadium, and if you use that stadium, we're going to drop your insurance on the district, which basically condemns the facility. So I'm here 3 or 4 months, and my first task is now we don't have a football facility to have games in. So about that same time, very generous individual, Mr. Jerry Amy, came in and asked me about donating the property across the street, and it was a natural fit. I said, hey, what do you think about getting a group of people together and raising some funds so we can do something about this facility and our lack of not having any place to have events due to that insurance issue. So he did, and we had a very active group of people. We got a lot of local people in it. Jerry and Scott Amy are big in it. Mike Joslin, Nick Irochi, Mark Wheeler, Lori McLaughlin, myself, and there's many others that I am sure I'm going to forget somebody, and I'm going to feel bad that if I don't say their name. But a lot of those people have been involved right from the beginning on raising these funds. So it's a nonprofit organization. It's called Care for Kids, the Conneaut Area Recreational Endowment. That's what CARE stands for, and their primary function is to raise funds for the Spark Project, and the nickname for Spark is a social place for athletics, recreation, and community. So the fund raising arm of the Spark Project is that Care for Kids Committee.
And when did this all start? What year was this?
I would say it was around 2008, and we did a lot of groundwork, probably a year's worth of groundwork before we were able to really jump into fundraising. But they've raised about $2.5 million, not only in just cash donations, but also in in-kind services. So in-kind services are contractors giving us great deals, keeping things local, that type of thing. So we try as best as possible to make that happen. It doesn't always happen, but we try. So we've got quite a bit done so far with this facility, but we still have a ways to go.
What percentage is done?
I would say over half of the actual facility, if you don't count the buildings. Now, let me rephrase that a little bit. We've got 3 major buildings and a band shell to go, which are large expense items. But also the last actual piece of the facility itself is, the athletic part, is the tennis courts. And we've had 2 generous donations towards the tennis courts. So we have around $250,000 raised towards the tennis courts. Of course, the bill is between $600,000 and $700,000 for the tennis court. So it's hard to start a next phase when you don't have enough money. Mm-hmm. So right now we're fundraising towards the tennis courts. Depending on how quickly donations come in, will let us determine how aggressive we can be with pursuing further additions to the complex.
So the tennis team plays at Liberty Street now?
But it would be nice to have lighted tennis courts, not only for our teams, but for the communities. I can envision adult leagues on Friday nights in the summer under the lights, or mixed doubles, or having big tennis tournaments during the tennis season where we bring 6-8 teams in with 5 lighted courts. It'd be a lot of fun for our kids and the community to bring all those buses full of kids in here. I'm sure places like Dairy Queen and McDonald's and all these restaurants in town would love to have 6-8 buses full of 50 high school kids in town for events. I mean, that goes true with the track.
Right.
You bring in 10 bus loads of kids for a track event, you know, they've got to eat, they got to get gas, they got to buy things in town. So hopefully we can get those kind of crowds into town.
Something's been lacking for a while.
Well, the facility part has been lacking for a long time. I think most people, if you play on the tennis courts in towns, some are in okay shape, but others are very lacking. And without a track for the last 15 years or so, we haven't been able to have a home track meet.